stop being lazy. Yeah. And I became creative. And I learned how to create it. And now that pride's for me. So come see. Oh, come here.
Welcome back to the Silver Lining Podcast. I'm your host Sterlington with my co-host Cam Turner. How you doing, Cam?
I'm doing better, man. Gotten over the loss. Looking forward to this
you,
Sunday, man. Looking forward to this Sunday.
you still feeling pessimistic, or you getting a little more optimism back?
Well, after Monday night, man, I'm a little bit more optimistic. We don't wish for injuries, but the Bucks have gone through. They've had a couple of doozies.
Yeah.
They've lost their two best playmakers, but at the same time, our defense has given up yards to anybody. So it
I
doesn't
ain't gonna
matter.
lie.
It doesn't matter who the other team puts out there; they're gonna put up numbers. So we'll see how this road test goes, man. It'd be nice to go 4-0 in the division.
I was just thinking to myself that this would be such a Falcon game to lose.
Dog,
Like, I
huge
was thinking to
letdown spot.
myself, I'm like, man, look, if y'all want to like show us the fan base that you guys are ready to turn that corner, this is one of those games you gotta win. They gotta win. Or I'm kicking a chair out from under me. I'm gonna be so pissed. I was like, hey man, the shit mountain back this year? I was like, oh, because last few years, that's what we've been. But I think we might be I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Look, the stars are lining up a little bit for the Falcons. So we do have some injuries up front. I don't know what the status is of Ryan Newsel. Drew Dalman's still out right now, but we did sign Hennessy. So, it's nice to have an experienced guy in the middle going into the next game. But what do we have any other notable injuries? Hold on,
Um,
I had the report up. Here we go. So, yeah, Bergeron, he's a full participant in practice. That is great news. Definitely noticed it was a little bit harder running once New Zealand Bergeron went down. Jadon's on limited. Justin Simmons limited. Antonio Hamilton limited. Troy Anderson limited. Nate Landon limited. Ryan Newsel DNP. So it's Wednesday. Wednesday 10/23, October 23rd. So, we'll get an update on that whenever we get one, but I don't know if Ryan's gonna play. I'm just gonna go ahead and count him out since we go ahead and recording on this early. Um but when I now one of the things I am interested in as far as one of the things I saw, so I felt like we got a lot more pressure against the Seahawks. I would love to be able to carry that forward, right? But the part I wouldn't love is to carry how bad the coverage was. All year, the coverage had been the strength of the team, and then once we started doing what we needed to do to be able to get more pressure, what we really messed up was we didn't convert many of those pressures into sacks, but we did get a lot of pressure. But even when we had pressure plays, Gito made huge plays against the secondary, which we, weren't accustomed to seeing, and we gave up a lot of big plays. In fact, it was one of those things that made me wonder, oh, is this why we were playing soft? Did the coaches not trust us to hold up in coverage, and that's why they didn't want to, play coverage that would let us get more pressure? Maybe that's the case. But another thing too is that maybe they're just having an adjustment period, and it's pretty easy to have the results that we had and say, all right, it's time to jump off of what we did and go back to what we were doing. But if we really trying to see if this Falcons team want to turn the corner, we might want to stick with it another game because look, if there's a game to press receivers and really focus on getting pressure on the quarterback, a team that's down Mike Evans and Chris Godwin is one of the teams to do it against. All right. So that's kind of my thoughts on the coverage and how that translates. One of the things I need to see, or I would like to see from the last game coming to this one. But I got some more things. But like, what like did you have anything that you want to see? Because we not the most superstitious people in the world, but it is a part of me that just when you see the Falcons do the same thing, iteration over iteration, and you start to wonder, all right, when is it going to be the part where you see him turn the corner? Is there anything in this game that you're looking for? Outside from a victory, obviously, but is there anything you're looking for that you think would help you feel positive about the team going forward?
I would like to see, I guess, a little bit more consistency. We have been lacking that on defense a little bit. Granted, as a team, something that we have been doing is making key adjustments to go, and they've been working in the second half. But I'll say they worked a little bit in the Seattle Seahawks game, but then we turned the ball over 3 times. So what are you going to do about that? The biggest takeaway I need to see from this defense or from this game in general is I need to see a true identity, man, because this bend or break thing, it's not really working. We're giving up points. We're putting our offense in a position where we're like, we kind of got to win games in a shootout because we can't really get any stops. And Tampa is a perfect team to try, and it's a road test as well. It's a perfect game to try and like get a definitive win. Like we got one against the Panthers. We need to get another one against Tampa. It'll put us 4-0 in the division. It'll put us in the firm driver's seat in the NFC South and put us in a better position to make the playoffs, which is ultimately all we want. And the secondary has been the strongest part of our team, so I need them to get back in. I know Justin Simmons has a little hamstring issue, but even then, though, like I, I, I don't really think we had any coverage issue with the safeties. I think it's more like our corners and then our linebackers getting caught out of position. Also, as well, it's also like what you said. We got to finish on off. We got to finish on defense. Whether we got to dial in on the run, we can't get gashed like that. I know Tampa has like a three-headed monster that they're working with right now. They're trying to get some consistency on the run game. They're trying to figure it out. So right now they're using 3 backs. So we got to take advantage of that and really try to dial in on that. And as far as getting the pass rush, Baker's pretty mobile, and we can just contain him and just make him throw to these backup receivers. I think we got a real good shot. But like you said, this is the perfect spot for a Falcons letdown where we honestly just shit the bed and go back to old Falcon tendencies. But I'm a believer in Raheem. I think he's gonna get the boys right, and I think he's gonna put us in a good position to win.
Yeah, man, Lord knows I hope so, man. Um, if I'm being candid, uh, the way I view the game against the Seahawks, I don't look at that necessarily as us getting our ass kicked. Um, I look at that more as a game that we kept shooting ourselves in the foot until the game got out of hand,
Oh,
right?
same. I completely agree.
We've been Falcons fans for a long time. We've seen the team march out there and just get their teeth kicked in, right? And I'm not gonna take anybody down memory lane. We don't need that negative energy in the house right now. And in fact, where's some sage at? Go ahead and cast these evil spirits out from out of this shit. But the the way the game went, there was just so many times the Falcons shot themselves in the foot with penalties. There was that Damone Harris one that turned a stop into a touchdown, and that one was shaky. I think Ebiketie ran into him in the back, and then he like submarined, and so we can blame the refs for that. But at the end of the day, that wasn't the only play the Falcons made or didn't make. That was them shooting themselves on the foot. Right. They had a lot of plays where we put ourselves behind the sticks, took ourselves out of the offensive advantage, and that really sucks when you were running the ball the way we're running the ball against them. In fact, actually, going forward, one of the things I would like to see more in this offense, and I want to preface this by saying I'm a huge proponent of having balance in your offense, but I would like to see us be a little more hard-headed about running the ball when we're running the ball that well. When we are blowing them off the ball, when we're getting 5 yards a clip, I want to see us just keep maul mashing the other team. Keep wearing them down. Keep their offense on the sideline. Keep that defense out there on the field. Get them tired in the fourth quarter. Limit that pass rush. We just do all the things we need to do to wear them down and to move the ball easily.
No,
That's why
absolutely.
I'm big on that. Like when you have a physical advantage over a team, when you dominate them in a way, I'd love to see that, especially with the way Bijan was running the ball. Man, he was physical. Like I felt like that game was the closest game we've gotten to Final Form Bijan. I still think there's a lot more to unlock. Because one of the things that I just have not seen in both years he's been in the NFL is attacking with Bijan down the field. I want to see Bijan getting isolated against a running back, a linebacker or a safety, and he take him on a wheel route, or he take him, on a seam route or a post or something, just something really attacking deep down the field against a favorable matchup. Because Bijan's got quickness in space and he's got hands. I've seen him make plays when he was at Texas that indicates that he can run receiver-like routes. Like, we were talking about, hey, how's Bijan going to be used coming into this year? And what name did he bring up? Oh, you do not remember? That's just me. I tried to keep it like I put you on the spot, Cam.
I
All right.
wasn't ready.
Yeah, Bijan, he said, they go, if you name the name of basically how he would be used in this offense, it'd be as Christian McCaffrey. And you use Christian McCaffrey to attack the defense a little deeper down the field. Like Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon gonna be running deep routes down the sideline. Saquon Barkley gonna be running those deep routes. I'm like, yo, let's involve Bijan in the passing game in a little more of a way than just as a check down on the screen or as a blocker. I want to see him attack downfield. But yeah, this was a game where I felt like we saw the closest thing to Final Form Bijan. Like I know we think of him as the quicker back because Algiers more powerful, but Bijan's not a little back and he's not a weak back. He's never been. He's always been a tough physical runner, and I think we got to see a lot of that physicality in his game. And then we also still saw the moves that we used to seeing with Bijan, and I think we're starting to see him be unlocked in this run game. And seeing how successful he is and how he's starting to really assert himself is making me really feel keen on the team dialing in on the run when we're talking about, having success on the ground. Like really just saying, all right, we're going to keep running this rock until you show us you can stop it. You know what I mean? But that's just one of the things that if we do have success against Tampa, and to be fair, Tampa's got a pretty good run defense. Tampa's been pretty solid against run. Last time we played them, we got 550 yards of offense, but like 500 of those were passing yards. So I want to see us improve on the run game against Tampa and really like unleash Bijan against them. I want to see us look better in pass protection. I think we looked a little rough. We looked a little shaky in pass protection. I want to see Kirk look better. Kirk, Kirk missed some throws, man. And I'm not talking about the picks. Like the picks, one of them I know Drake London. It hit him on both hands. But I think he missed another throw to Ray McLeod. On a third down, and it was a deep throw.
Oh, it was
And
a
I was
touchdown.
like, and it was a touchdown.
Yeah.
And that's a throw Kirk got to hit, man.
Oh,
You
for
know what I'm
sure.
saying?
For sure.
When you throw
It
in
was
those
an off
penalties,
game. It was honestly an off game for the whole team. And now that I look at us going into Tampa this Sunday, it's honestly very reminiscent into how Seattle came into Atlanta. Like you got a team who's reeling. Seattle lost 3 straight games. They need to get back. They're looking to be a get back on track game. And unfortunately for us, we were the get right team.
Yeah.
And I honestly think Tampa is looking to do the same. They're looking to get back on track. They just lost a game. They just lost some key players. They are going like Seattle. They are going to be a galvanized force, looking to come in and get a dub. We got to come out sharp. Like last week, we came out very dull. Like we were just going to win that game. Like we were going to steamroll those guys. Came out flat, and it showed. We cannot do that against Tampa. We got to come in, immediately set the tempo from the beginning, run it down their throats, use play action, get some guys open, utilize Bijan. Like you mentioned getting Bijan the ball in space, getting a tight end on him. That kind of reminded me of how Kenneth Walker scored that touchdown when Nate Landman was on him.
Yep.
He couldn't beat him. Nate Landman couldn't. Nate Landman couldn't keep up with
Cover him.
Kenneth.
Yeah.
He couldn't keep
Yeah.
up with Kenneth, and I think we can use Bijan in a similar way.
And honestly, it wasn't even just that those ways. Like when I say Nate Landman was struggling with the speed, man, it was some of those times where those cutback runs, the reason they were able to happen is because when he cut back, man, he could outrun Nate Landman to the corner and then start to get a big gain on those runs. So yeah, man, I want to see us get Bijan in more situations like that, isolated against running against linebacker. Yeah, yeah,
Which is honestly why I'm happy. We got Troy Anderson back. He's a limited participant in practice.
yeah.
Hopefully, he can play this coming Sunday. If not, I know he'll be ready to come next week. So it's good to see that he's trending in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, man. I think I now look, I don't maybe I'm like too much of a believer in Anderson, but I would just keep watching him and I remember just keep thinking to myself, man, if this dude's instincts get right, like he keeps just being right out of frame of making plays, so he's always on the ass end of missing a play. But
Yeah,
a lot of times he right there. I'm just like, oh, if he just knew where to go at the snap of the ball, he would have been making some of these plays. And that last game he played against New Orleans, I didn't feel like his 17 tackles were just a bunch of him being Johnny on the spot. It really looked like his instincts carried him to the ball in a lot of plays. Like it was times where he was his speed made got him to the ball faster, but like I'm watching Alvin Kamara make a move on the run, and he's like, as soon as the ball snap, he knows where to go. He's using his keys. He's reading the guard, reading the running back. He's making the plays, right? And I think if that was real, now the worst part about the injury is that it happened right during his best game. If that was real, um, I think we could see this defense step up a little bit. Now, I don't want to put all that on one guy who hadn't proved necessarily that he could do a lot. And let's be real, even in that game, now we still gave up 24 points. So it's not, and he did play most of that game. But I think he's the guy who can give you the sideline to sideline bit of the defense, and also be your primary cover guy against backs, right? And that probably would have stopped. Like there's several plays in that Seattle game that I hate that minute. I like Lemon. I'm not an anti Lemon guy, but if that was Troy in there, them plays would have got made.
they
You know what I'm
would have.
saying?
They would have. He's a better athlete.
Yeah, he's a better athlete, but I think he's on the path, at least, to becoming a better football player,
I think so too. And
and not just a
that's
better
good.
football player, but like a guy who can he can change your life on defense a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not ready to be what like Jesse Bates is. Like Jesse Bates, he's not changing your life a little bit. Like Jesse Bates done won us a game or two. Like Jesse Bates, since he's been in Atlanta, I can probably think of off the top of my head, he done won us at least like 4 games. like like I know that opener against Carolina last year with the 2 picks on Bryce Young, the pick six he had against the Saints. You know what I'm saying? I know he forced well, it kind of helped. That fumble he forced against Tampa, but that ended up not being the last possession. But yeah, that man Jesse, man. But one
But it
day,
was it.
one day we'll get traded. But you know who I am? Speaking of money well spent, you know who not looking Not necessarily looking like trade asset well spent. Number 15.
Judon?
Yeah, man.
Hey, thank God he's on a prove it deal. So it doesn't really bother me like that. But man, if he wants a contract, he ain't playing for it.
I mean, no, he'll get a contract, but not the one he was looking for.
Like the way he looking, it's just like, bro,
I'm
you
like,
want these
bro.
big bucks, but you ain't playing like it.
I'm like, yeah, you kind of a jag right now, man. I'm like, is this some sort? And that's where I start getting superstitious again, even though I'm not a superstitious person. I'm like, man, what the hell is it with us coming to Atlanta as pass rushers and then just mediocrity?
Just becoming another guy, man. I don't know what it is, man.
Like, I know
I
he's a little
kill
older,
for
but
a
damn
pass
it, he
rush.
ain't that old. You know what I'm
Have the
saying?
Falcons ever had a guy get 20 sacks in our entire franchise history?
No,
Not one guy.
no.
Not
I'm
one
trying
guy.
to think about who's had the most.
I think Jonathan Abraham. I think he had like 16.
Vic. I think Vic had 16 and a half.
There might be a tie, but if Vic Beasley is our sack leader,
Oh,
let me look it
gotta
up.
look it up now. It's time to look it up. Falcons all-time single season sack leader. What? The AI overview is crazy. Oh, okay. Okay, John Abraham got a 16 and a half sack season as well. I'm trying to. Oh, don't pull up. Oh, okay. Never mind. Vic had 15 and a half. John Abraham had 16 and a half. And then there
Okay.
was good old 2004, where we had Patrick Kearney with 13. And then go down to number 7 the same year, Rod Coleman had 11 and a half.
Man, I think as a defense, when it, I think we might be like kind of like last all time.
But
Man,
I mean, look now, like I said, man, this is one of those games, bro. This is one of those games where if we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, ideally we should be able to win. Cause hold on, let me like when you pull up their injury report, you know they hurting too. And not just with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Like, you know, Chris Godwin's on the IR and Mike Evans, he didn't practice. He got a bad hammy. Probably won't practice, probably gonna miss the game. But William Golston was a limited participant. Bucky Irving did not practice today. Tyke Smith, safety / corner, concussion, didn't he a DNP. You know, so they gonna trot out, you know, a non not full defense, and we gotta look. We gotta win this turnover battle, man. Like
oh, absolutely, absolutely, and that's the thing, man. I think the Bucks are going to rely on their defense because their offense is beat up.
yeah, I
They're
think they're
hurt.
gonna look to
They don't
run the
have a lot of
ball.
they don't have a lot of weapons. They're going to try to rely on their running game because they know if any team can run, they can run the ball on us. So
Oh dear God.
so they're going to try to run the ball on us, and they're going to rely on their run defense to stop us from being able to run the ball. And they're going to their secondary, their corners are a little bit better than ours, so they're going to. Like I see the
My
game
bad. I'm
already.
getting Falcons flashbacks right now. I'm like
Exactly,
thinking
dog.
about all the
This is
times
such
we
a
had a
game we should
team.
win, dog. Their team is beat up. They're hurt.
I said somebody said I think I was on Reddit. Somebody put up a post. They said Baker Mayfield without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and then they showed a picture of Baker Mayfield with the Panthers. And I laughed and said, ha ha ha, don't do that. Don't do Baker like that. Don't do that to Baker. Then I said, no, but seriously, don't do that. He does his best work. I said we got next, and he does his best work when people doubt him. Keep believing in Baker. Say he's gonna have a great game this game. I need people buying the juice on Baker. When they buy the money on Baker, that's when Baker gonna F it up. You know what I'm
And no one
saying?
is, man. I've seen some of the predictions. They got all of them are selecting us. They saying, "Yo, you're the
Oh
Falcons."
yeah, brother. They
And like
got no
that's when we
faith.
lose, and I
And
hate
I'm
that because
like,
that's when we
we
drop the ball.
hey, but these are the kind of games that as a Falcon fan, I need to see the team overcome. I'm
Yes,
I need you to overcome the narrative in my head, right? The thing that I've seen so many of these teams do before.
dog. It's
You know
already
what I'm saying?
it's a
This ain't
narrative
supposed
in
to
the
be a game I'm
city.
supposed to feel this nervous about. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes,
don't get me wrong, it's a division game. We on the road. We got to acknowledge that, we played them recently, so they still got that taste still, in their mouth, and they still are very familiar with us. And even more so when you play close games like that, you know what I'm saying? That's like, take it back to 2015 when we got smacked up forehand backhand by the Panthers in Carolina. I mean, boy, I can't believe the Panthers didn't get arrested that way. The way they gave us the forehand backhand, boy, that thing was legal. That was domestic. But then they came to Atlanta, and it was a whole different ball game. Hung the only regular season L on them. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how those division games are when they close like that. And so we playing one of these close division games, one of these, division games with only a couple games in between, and they getting picked and chose against, and they felt like they should have beat us the first time anyway.
that's what I'm saying,
And
man.
then
They got a chip on their shoulder,
and
man.
then they got Baker Mayfield, the underdog's underdog, the guy who when his power goes up, the more negative you get about him. You know what I'm saying? And we got them with injuries like it's the recipe for disaster. Now I would like to believe though that us getting humbled the way we did at home last Sunday, get that focus back.
Thank you,
Because they
thank
did, they did come out a little flat. It kind of came out like they was like, all right, this is business as usual. And nah, bro, you getting ready for a football game. There's no such thing as business as usual. You don't work in an office. You work on a football field. You need to have a certain level of intensity about yourself
you.
at
Gotta
all
earn it.
times.
You gotta earn
You
it
know what I'm
every
saying?
Sunday.
And so I mean, look, we going in. We got a chance to get a huge boon for the division. It'll be a 1-game lead in the standings, but 4-0 in the division and sweeping the team most likely to challenge you for the division crown. That's huge.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
huge. You know what I'm saying? So like the Falcons got a lot to play for. They got a lot to gain from this and a lot of motivation to find in this. And so I'm like, yo, are we gonna do what the Falcons have done, so many times, or we gonna see this team, fight and battle through that? In fact, I would love to see them manhandle them, but I'm not gonna put that on them. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things that I am a little nervous about, you're always nervous about these kind of things is when you see your defense um, get beat the way they did, the specific way they did against Seattle, which was, they hadn't been giving up big plays all year. They were great at not doing that. And then they almost doubled the entire amount of big plays they gave up like all year in one game. And you start to wonder, hey, was that just a bad game? Or is that cracks in the armor? I got something like that.
Given
Uh,
how both our offense and defense play bad, I'm gonna say it was just a bad game. We was feeling ourselves a little bit, drinking the Kool-Aid, as Nick Saban says, eating the rat poison, eating the cheese.
yeah, man.
I think it was a case of that. I don't think we will come out flat. I think we will. Hopefully, Raheem has these guys ready to fight because I know for damn sure the Bucks are going to be ready. They're going to be ready for a dogfight, so we got to be ready for one too. And I think we got the pieces to outgun them. Unfortunately, the Bucks are hurt, and I think we got enough to overcome whatever they throw at us.
Hey, man, maybe, but look, I didn't see us stop the run against Seattle. Well, we played it all right, but the plays where Seattle did make plays, they got real good runs. And I think that's where it's gonna start for us. Like they still have ways to attack our defense. That's like the scary part. Like maybe all right, now you just can't do it on the outside. But I mean, they got a host of good running backs. You know, they're gonna probably want to isolate those guys against Landman and Kate Nellis in coverage and see what they can get done there. You know, and obviously on plays where we play zone or whatever, they're gonna, get Sterling Shepard involved, or Jalen McMillan involved, or whoever. I forget the
Trey
other
Palmer.
huh?
Trey Palmer.
Trey Palmer, yeah, Trey Palmer involved. Um, so I mean, they got guys that got chemistry with Baker. They can take, but look, if we just go in and play mistake-free football, like just don't turn the ball over, don't get badly timed penalties. You can have penalties, it's look, it's a hard game. You got to hustle. Sometimes that means you're gonna accidentally grab a face man. Sometimes that means you're gonna hold. So that's gonna happen. But we can't get those penalties on third down or in the red zone or after a third down stop for the defense. All three of which we did in the last game. Like literally just the penalties alone,
Killed
let
us.
alone like,
Killed us.
the missteps. If we just go and play mistake-free football, right? I think right off the bat, um, I'm liking the Falcons a lot more. You know what I'm saying? And the hard thing about how they lost, you just got to make sure you're not overreacting to it, right? If we just take the whole season for what it is, things that didn't happen, the Falcons let that game get out of control. They hadn't done that all year. Even win, lose, a draw. Well, they hadn't had no draws, but win, lose, a draw. They didn't have any games get out of hand. I mean, they kind of got out of hand as far as us beating Carolina, but yeah, there's that. Um, giving up a bunch of explosive plays. That was out of hand. That was not something that the team has done all year, right? Turning the ball over, losing the turnover battle 3-0. Now we done had some games where we had turnovers. We had that Steelers game, but outside of that Steelers game, hadn't had a game like that all year.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing that we got to do is just make sure we're not yucking it up. If we go out there and just don't, like I said, play mistake-free football, I think right off the bat, that's probably enough for us to secure a victory. You see what I'm saying? But I think I would love to see us jump out to a big lead quickly, right? If we just force them to get used and involve their receivers more in the pass game, force Baker to drop back more instead of having them have a balanced attack. Because that's when we started to see our team get a little challenged. Like when we got forced into having that unbalanced attack. And see what you saw the difference in situational football when you think about the Bucks game versus the Seahawks game. Because that Bucks game threw the ball 58 times. It was a very pass heavy offense. But a lot of those passes were of our dictation. Like we said when we wanted to throw the ball. We didn't get forced into a position where, oh, they gotta throw the ball now. So now everybody got their ears pinned back. They already pass rushing versus, they don't know if it's a pass or a run, and then you just keep throwing the ball. You know what I'm saying? So I think as long as we get out in that front too, I think that'll be huge as far as just dictating the game that we want to dictate. And the other thing too is, man, we like let's take advantage of the Bucks being on the ropes too. The Bucks, that defense kind of been well bit suspect the last few weeks. Like even against the Saints, they shut down the Saints for 3 quarters, but that one quarter, Saints cooked them a little bit. They got a defensive touchdown, but they still cooked them a little bit in that quarter. And then, the Ravens went out there and did whatever the hell they wanted, as the game went along. And so I'm like, yo, man, Todd Bowles' defense might be getting exposed too. Let's go ahead and put them boys on the highlight reel this time instead of, being the ones out here, getting exposed and us wondering if it's time to fire or it's time to take play calling duties from Jimmy Lake.
Hey man, Todd Bowles is blitzing, man. Hopefully we can take advantage of it. Kirk Cousins is absolutely in no way, shape, or form remotely comparable to Lamar, but he gets the ball out quickly. He's shown he can put up numbers, and he did it again. The last time he did it against the Bucks. So
That's right.
I'm confident, man. I'm confident, man. Shit, what's your score prediction, dog? What you looking at?
Man, Falcons bounce back game 24-20. I think the Bucks keep it close most of the game. Um, I think they might even lead in the beginning. Something like 14-10, or maybe like just something where they definitely hanging in there and they keeping us contained, and then we pull ahead at the end and get the W. And I don't think we're gonna necessarily have a breakout offensive game. Now we could, like I said, the Bucks, they shake you on D sometimes, and the offense probably want to have a get right game. Like let's not BS it now. The Falcons did move the ball against Seattle. They didn't just necessarily get the clamps put on them, but we had some opportunities that we wasted, and Koo missed the field goal. So there was more offense to be had there. But I think this being a division game, I think after the defense that the Bucks played the last time, they're gonna be a lot more keen on us, and they're gonna look to come out and they know how important it is that they play good defense this game. Playing substandard defense when you got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and the whole gang out there is one thing, but when you don't have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin out there, and you kind of need that to be a part of the element, I think they're gonna be looking real hard to want to run the ball a lot, keep the game short, and they're gonna want to play tight defense to keep this as a low scoring game to try to keep our weapons from taking advantage of game and getting the game out of hand. So I think 24-20 is around where it's going to be. What about you?
I think it really all depends on our ability to run the ball. If we can't run the ball very well, it's going to be low scoring. But if we can, I think we would have put up some numbers. I don't think the Bucks are going to have enough to. Their run defense is very good, but I don't think they're going to have enough to stop us as a team. Their secondary is a little hurt as well. Like you said, they're shaky. I think we're going to really come together. We might start off a little slow, but I think come maybe second quarter, third quarter, we'll really start putting it on them. But I still think it'll be a close game just because it's for the Falcons. If we win, it's going to be a close game. I think we're going to score a little bit more points. I'd say it's going to be more like 31-28. Maybe we win off a cool game winner, or we just outdo them to the end. Maybe, or maybe it's like how this past game went. We scored a bunch of points, and the Bucks are just they make it close in garbage time. So we'll see. We'll see who shows up. It's a tale of two teams who just lost, and we'll see who's got the more grit.
Hey man, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. We're gonna learn a lot about the team I feel like we're gonna learn more about the Falcons in this game than the Bucks though, because you'll still get a little up and down with Baker Mayfield, but I mean you get a lot of up and down with Kirk too, but Kirk's got a longer sample size. At this point, if we get a down game here, I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, this just the regular Falcons, regular Kirk, regular whatever. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think we can go and wrap it up there, man.
Okay, I agree.
All right, man. Well, look, everybody who watched and spent some time with us today, man, really appreciate you spending that time with us. Love to hear your thoughts. You know how I roll, man. Go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the little bell notification so you know when we don't upload it. If I don't post it somewhere that you see it. And please leave a comment so we know what y'all thinking. Have a good one. Anything else you want to say, Cam?
Hey, let's hope our Falcons dub this Sunday, man.
Pray for it, baby. All right, man. We signing out. Peace.